Will Iran become the Hormuz gatekeeper for the world? That is the question now dominating global shipping lanes, energy markets, and geopolitical strategy. Iran has taken a key step in that direction, with its parliament approving a draft bill to formalize transit fees for ships passing through the Strait of Hormuz. The proposed law seeks to institutionalize a system which has already been taking shape over the past few weeks. Now, under this model, ships carrying Iranian oil or goods are allowed to pass freely, while vessels from friendly countries are charged a reported fee of $2 million. Ships from countries considered unfriendly by Iran could face restrictions or even denial of passage. Shipping routes have been adjusted accordingly as well, according to the vessels that are being directed through a corridor between the Qeshm and Larak Islands, then along Iran's coastline before entering the Gulf of Oman, which effectively places transit under Iranian oversight. Now, Iran says that revenue from these fees is intended to support reconstruction efforts following the recent strikes by America and Israel. Iran has also called for compensation for damages, the lifting of sanctions, and the release of blocked assets. However, this move has met resistance. Oman has rejected the idea of transit fees, stating that existing agreements ensure free passage through the strait and that no country can unilaterally impose charges. America and Iran agreed to a ceasefire just hours before President Trump's Tuesday deadline. That last-ditch deal averted Trump's escalation of the war. The two-week ceasefire, remember, comes in exchange for Tehran reopening the Strait of Hormuz. Following the ceasefire, Brent crude fell, which is a global benchmark that fell to about $95 a barrel, and the European gas prices dropped 20%. But despite the market cheer, investors remain on an edge as Hormuz remains the key. Donald Trump pledged that the U.S. would assist in restarting the flow of the tanker traffic in the strait. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said that for a period of 2 weeks, safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz will be possible via coordination. Those statements raise several questions. How will Trump make sure of the flow of ships through the key waterway? Will Iran now stop charging a toll for ships for 2 weeks? From late March and early April, Iran, remember, was reportedly charging a $2 million transit fee or penalty for certain vessels passing through the strait. Iran has often demanded payment in Chinese yuan or cryptocurrency to avoid the U.S. dollar. While the total cargo value passing through the strait is immense and around $600 billion per year, the costs associated with the security crisis currently are now extremely high. But the latest ship tracking data shows that the ceasefire is starting to work. War risk insurance premiums for the strait dropped below 1% for the first time since the crisis began. According to Kepler tracking data, 20 ships transited in the last 24 hours. Risks remain elevated despite the movement. Insurance costs are still about 4 times higher than pre-war levels. It raises massive concerns over the possibility of future disruptions. Right now, the ceasefire is temporary and does not really mark the end of the war. So the question still hangs in air. Will Iran become the Hormuz gatekeeper for the world? The next 2 weeks may decide just this.